Who was the only American to win a men's European title? Dick Button, Roger Turner, John Misha Petkovic, or David Wilkinson Jenkins? Hello! Let's recap 2025 European Championships. Winners, mid-season changes. The Kovalevs changed their costumes, and with that, my perception of them. This is the first time in years that I actually like their costumes. And this time around, I would actually love to wear that red dress for James Bond. It's just gorgeous. They also tweaked the Britney Spears shirt, and I'm so grateful for that. I no longer think it's campy, I think it's fine. European silver medalist Conti and Macchi also made some tweaks to their shirt to Carmen, much sharper, much better. Is it the best Carmen I have ever seen? Probably not, but Carmen is one of my favorite war horses, so it's fine. Their free was much the same, but maybe I was just starving for quality with a capital Q and they delivered it, so I really enjoyed it. Congrats on the silver and for keeping the 3 spots for next year. Losers, pair throws in the short program. If they didn't fall, they had to fight for their lives or fear for their faces. On the other hand, very good throw loops in the free. Gilardi and Brossini are to die for when it comes to throws. It's the side-by-side that are the problem. Juma is training with Carolina Kostner. Can we not do like a bootcamp with Juma's dad? Those SALCHOWS are just not in sync. Out of rhythm, they either pop it, under-rotate it, or fall. Their choreos are so good, it's a shame that we cannot really enjoy them as a whole. Do you know who is eating chicken tonight though? Minerva, Fabien, Hasse, and Nikita, Volodin. Not only did they have the best throw loop of the competition, they had the best program, period. I will always advocate that your signature choreo needs to be something original, but I'm sad for this Vivaldi. They are making it their own. Minerva might have made some mistakes on the side-by-sides, but they are lining up to become the world champions. They have the consistency, they have the chemistry, the elements of support. I'm kind of hoping they become world champions. That way we will have 3 world champions going into the Olympics, and that sounds delicious. Losers, dismounts. Annika Hock and Robert Kunkel did not have a night. Their ending like a ragdoll, as Chris put it, was amazing, but they practically fell from the signature lift. They made too many mistakes to contend for a medal. Another botched lift was from Calderamaglio. Siva almost dropped Danilova. And the Great Britain team from Vipan Low and Digby did fall. In practice, but they did fall from a lift. Some people reported that she had hit her head and some others that no, it was just her shoulder. What we do know is that she stayed on the ice for a couple of minutes. I understand that they had found themselves on a great spot after the short. They did a great job and they held their own on the free. On my last video, I mentioned concussion protocols in regard to Adam's backflip. This is one of the instances where the concussion protocol really needs to be upheld. Obviously, the athlete would like to compete. It's up to the officials to say like, hey, no, you are injured. That is no longer about figure skating, it's about health. Some people might say that was courageous, but if she actually hit her head, I will call it idiotic. Winner? Sibling vibes. The Switzerland pair showed up. Massive twists. The Swiss team shows so much potential, but I feel like he has a lot more of a diva energy than she does. And that affects them as a team because he looks way more into it than she is. In previous videos, I've mentioned the Hungarians have like 0 political backing. This week was more than obvious. Their short wants to be quirky and fun. The thing is they have 0 chemistry. Their elements are fine. How can you sell a sex bomb program when you irradiate sibling energy? It's like siblings pretending to be dating. It just doesn't work. Their free was much better. In my opinion, they need to start leaning towards fun programs or contemporary dance or just interesting to look that does not require any sexual or romantic tension. She had a pretty bad fall on the free, but I really believe that they would be 3rd. Even more so because Metelkina and Berufrik were not skating as they usually do. Speaking of, Metelkina had a worrisome amount of tape on her shoulders and arms. I don't care about her partner, but I do care about her, so I hope they were not too harsh on her after the short. Their elements were not sharp, their lifts were kind of scratchy. The judges helped them out a little bit. Who do you believe should have been 3rd? Did you agree with the judges or with the crowd? Because they booed. And I'll boo them harder because they are going to Junior Worlds. I hate them. This is like taking away candy from a child. How much money are they gonna get? Because obviously they're gonna win juniors. They are medaling at senior. What are they doing back on juniors? Get out! Leave those babies be babies and let them have the spotlight. Chetanina and Wozniak could not skate clean, but I just love the look they gave each other and she just started beaming with happiness. That's chemistry. It was so brief, but I live for those moments. It was a partners in crime look. And Miniki shared one as well at the beginning. I love pairs. Losers, backflips. All I could think of while Adam was skating was his ankles. His jumps looked extra wild and his landings looked painful. I wouldn't be surprised if he announces that he re-injured himself. I would tell him to just skip Worlds altogether so he has a chance at the Olympics. But realistically, are they gonna put all of their trust in Kevin, the man who just gave up mid-program twice? 2 years in a row? Are they gonna send Mr. Economy, whom I love, but personal best is 236? Are they gonna send Francois, who has never had any support from the Fed? Never been to Europeans and had a horrible showing at the Grand Prix? Whatever the French Federation decides is gonna bite them on the arse eventually. The women are much the same, actually. I'm very happy for Lia Serna, though, because she gave a fight, she was about to give up, and she stood up and said, like, no, I can't do it, and she did a very good free. Going back to Adam for a second, I started praying for him to just get third. That was the minimum. Of course, he had to do a backflip on the free, and probably strain his ankles ever more, why not? But he changed it for the short, and I'm so happy for him, because that knee slide was dope. What I'm not gonna forgive from the ball one for is that the knee slide is not in the correct musical phrase. It's like a well-timed Ina Bauer. There is just a specific art to it. And this slide was like over the music and I didn't like it. And I know I'm nitpicking, but it really bothers me. Winners! Italian lot says, my mom is a woman of taste. She really liked Yusuru Hanyu. Clearly, she loved Javier Fernandez, no idea why, and she really likes Shoma Uno. And currently, her loved one is Nicolai Memola. Her translated exact words were, he looks much calmer this time around. It's good that he believes in himself. Are you gonna refute that? No, of course not, because I'm not. The man was clean, and he was on his game. I didn't think that he was gonna be the Italian man to medal, but you know, my jinxes are incredibly powerful. Everyone on my top tier kind of messed up in a way. And I'm kind of happy for myself. Good job, Nikolai. He was impressive. He really was. I really thought that he would be two-footed in some of his jumps, but it's just a height perception. And at the medal ceremony, it really looked like he was a header. Plus, he received a blessing from Samson himself. Cutting his hair and skating this clean. Wow. His female counterpart, Ana Peseta, had an incredible debut. Just like I mentioned in my preview, her jumps are massive. There was an alternative angle posted and wow, just wow. Ice coverage, height, speed, incredible. It really is incredible. She's so talented. She finished above my queen, Lara Naki-Gutman, for the second time in a row. And that's a pickle because Team Italy only has one spot for women at Worlds. So will they go with Lara, who has been very consistent but might have missed her window for winning Europeans? Or are they gonna send their jumping prodigy? Whoever they send, they have to be top 10 in order to have 2 women at their home Olympics. A polished Ana Peseta is gonna be a force to contend with. At the moment, she cannot control her power. Her jumps actually remind me a lot of Kaori Sakamoto, but the wild version of Kaori's jumps. And her interpretation needs a ton of help. So I hope she works on that, because otherwise, what a raw talent she is. Losers? Os for Moki Nikegatse. Look, I love joking around, but it really throws on my heartstrings when people are upset over their losses. I might dislike that he gets a bonus on components when he's clearly not at the level, but other than that, he's not even rumored to be a weirdo, you know? He looks like a very sweet guy. So I literally have nothing against him aside from his coach. And my beef with Eteri was that she practically drugged her minor students. Nika, I promise, if you switch to Urmanov or anyone else that is not like in that category of exploitative, I promise you'll have at least one more fan in me. Small fed rapid round. Turkish up Erenoska and big smiles. I really like when skaters love what they do. Armenian Daniel Antis. Great quadruple toe. Original spins. Bulgaria Slatkov. Nice to watch. Surprisingly so. Brastakova from the Czech Republic. Knew her limitations. Knew her parameters. Personal good results. Mexican-born Norwegian Mia Risa Gomez. Incredibly solid, needs better programs. You might not represent Mexico, but you know that at the Olympics, I'm gonna make sure everyone knows about you. Josephine Talligar from Sweden. Interpretation is her middle name. My dark horse, Julia Sauter from Romania, she couldn't hold it together to make it into the medals. She gave us a good short though. Losers, the Salchow course. Ulrich behaved for once, or maybe he just took pity on poor Chris, who was so fed up with men-manning. Who was more dumbfounded? The fans or Chris about DENISS landing 2 quadruple SALCHOWS, 1 in combination? If you had seen my face. He popped it in the short again. He was so frustrated and he said, never again. I really thought he was gonna medal. Not win, but medal. Samoilov from Poland was also blessed by Ulrich's SALCHOW, but in the short. This is what I meant with half the men are contenders as long as they skate clean. His programs are not my cup of tea. I think he was always gonna be at a disadvantage on PCS. A shame he couldn't do anything in the free. But still, he made an impression and got in the top 10. Winner? Fluke Falls! Historic gold medal for Estonia. Local girl Niina Petrokina is the new queen. After the short program, I posted a poll asking who was gonna be the new queen. 66% of you voted for Kimi, and only 4%, including myself, voted for Niina. If I was not getting Lara, I wanted Petrokina to win, and I got it. There was height and power to her jumps. She filled the arena, and of course the crowd helps. She was the full package. In her interview, she said, "The fall made me focus. That's a sign of strong mental." I was crying, she was crying, everyone was crying. We all needed that this weekend. Plus, a fluke fall for a skater with zero awareness. Everyone say thank you to fluke falls. Thank you, fluke falls. Losers, under-rotated jumps. Anastasia Gubanova is always locked in for Euros. I feel like all of her preparation is about Euros. And if I was her, I would probably do the same. But it was so funny to hear Chris say, "I have seen jumps more rotated than that." I live for a spicy commentary if you cannot tell. In my personal opinion, Kimi should have been above Gubanova in the short, but they were just decimals, so I didn't really care. It was a free that made her in. She just looked small in comparison to Petrokina. There was not much speed, her jumps were very small, and she doesn't have this enormous personality that other skaters have. And of course, Petrokina had the crowd behind her, so I really think it was fair for her to be second. And our other Niina on the podium, Niina Pinzarrone. She skated miles better. She went clean but had too many under rotations. I think small jumping is a problem with Europeans, and that's why the Italians look so much better and bigger. Europeans are relying a little bit too much on their time jumps instead of the strength of their jumps. I was so resigned to have a couple of these men on the podium, and then we heard notice that King Shinamano was gonna be the tech specialist. Finally, a judge that calls every single one of your jumps, regardless of a passport. He judges so fairly, I love him. Truly a king. Click subscribe to join the Shinamano fan club today for free $99. Do you know whose tech score went up instead of down after Shinamano reviewed it? New European king, Lukas Britschghi. This was the best we have seen him this season, if not ever. He was so solid, I didn't think it was gonna be beaten, and it wasn't. Back in 2017, he scored 179 points total, and he was so proud of himself. At Euros this year, he scored 184 points on his free alone. 267 points total. He didn't believe he was at the same level as Lambiel, but he's leaving Tallinn with a title Lambiel could never win. A European champion. First Swiss man to win since 1947. 78 years went by since the last Swiss champion. I'm so happy for him. Kimi really lives as a queen without a crown. She all but jumped out of her seat to congratulate Petrokina when she won. Kimi was so happy for her friend. And all of this amidst her own personal disappointment. I love this era of figure skating of rivalries without anger. The Swiss team is turning out to become something, and I hope they make out the best of it. Losers, the figure skating community. It's been very hard to poke fun at a competition with the events of the crash looming all over our heads. They were just too young. To Maxim Nomov, I wish you so much strength. The figure skating world lost 2 world champions, but that is nothing compared to losing both your parents. As we mourn this tragedy, news of Dick Button's passing broke as well. I didn't grow up with his commentary, but watching tributes and compilations made me realize why he was so beloved. I'm certainly gonna steal 1 or 2 of his phrases. 2-time Olympic champion, 5-time world champion, first person to land a double axel, first to land a triple jump. And the weirdest piece of trivia of them all. Only American man to have won European championships. Rest in peace, legend. And may all families find peace in their heart.